Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Edjuenka, and I'm here with Assistant District Governor, Mrs. Delma Maduro. Welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
It's always good to see you.
Here.
And Mr. President-elect Ryan Geller from the Club of Rowtown, Rotary Rowtown.
That's right.
Yes.
It's good to be back.
Good to be back. Good to see you. As well. Good to have you back.
Good to see everybody.
This month, November is Foundation Month.
Foundation Month, yes.
Okay, what that means?
Foundation Month. With respect to Rotary International, of course, we are a group of enthusiastic leaders who do good in our communities, our local communities and globally. Mm-hmm. And we have the Rotary Foundation, which is the charitable arm of Rotary. This is where we're able to raise funds, where our funds essentially is multiplied several times over to do a lot of charitable work in the BVI and throughout the world, essentially.
Okay. So you have another arm. You said this is your
the charitable.
This is your charitable
arm.
I didn't know Rotary had another arm. I thought both arms are charitable.
Yeah, no. Well, yes. Well, one is charitable from funds, and one is charitable from doing so.
Oh, okay.
This is the one that works behind the scenes to make sure that we can do what we're able to do in front of the scenes.
And this foundation was established. How long has it been established?
I do remember exactly.
1918, I believe it was established.
1918.
So it's been around a long time. It started off slowly with some small projects and things like that. I think the first project was actually building a latrine somewhere in Africa. That was our first project, and it's grown to now all over the world and accessible by any Rotary Club around the world and any part of the Rotary family.
Okay.
So
what are some of its achievements?
Well, first of all, it does some amazing things with respect to the funds that it receives, the contribution that it receives. And with the Rotary Foundation, none of the money that goes to the Rotary Foundation goes to any work within the clubs for members and so on. The members do not benefit at all directly from any of the foundation funds. And in fact, they're credited with being, a very, very credible organization, so much so that we have some serious partners around the world because of the credibility that we have in the Rotary Foundation, how we are able to handle the funds, that is the foundation, how they're able to handle the funds and multiply the funds for projects.
How much of the money goes to administrative costs?
None of that.
Because that's
well, not quite true. A little bit does. Of course, everything needs to function. But the statistics are really that 89% of all funds that go into the foundation end up being used for projects. I think about 8% is used for assisting in fundraising overall, and then about 2 or 2.5% is used for administration. So very little is used for the actual administration of the foundation itself. Okay.
Because that's usually the benchmark of good charitable organizations. Because we hear a lot around the world about charitable organizations that 60 and 70% of the money goes to administrative costs, and then
that is not the case.
The public just gets.
No, where the foundation really has an advantage is that we do invest money in safe vehicles, so that we can gain some interest and some returns on it, and that helps to offset some of the administrative costs. So most of the costs, when you hear the 2%, most of that is offset actually by returns on some of the investments for when people leave bequests or money in their wills and endowment funds, those sort of things. Those can be used to help the finance part of the funding of the foundation in terms of the administrative, so we can then use all of the money then to do really the good work that we do around the world.
Where does the money come from? How is it raised? And how can persons contribute to the fund? Is it from general contributions or just specific persons give endowments around the world?
It comes in a number of ways. You asked about a project, any particular projects that they might have done. And polio is the number one. The eradication of polio is the absolute number one project of the Rotary Foundation. And we have some serious partners contributing to this fund. So at a local level, yes, we do raise funds as well. In fact, we had our first foundation dinner. When was that? On the 2nd?
Yeah.
The 2nd of November, held over at Paris Bite, and it was relatively successful. I think it was successful for a first effort. The jury's still out as to how much money we've raised, but it should be in the region of $3,000, and those funds will go directly towards polio, because we themed it the world's greatest meal, and any funds that are raised with that theme would go to the eradication of polio.
Okay. The theme for
The theme for that dinner was the world's greatest meal.
The world, okay.
The world's
and
greatest
don't you
meal.
have a theme for the whole project, the whole polio eradication project? Is there something that...
Right now, all of the campaigns that we do talk about how close we are. So you'd see a lot of PSAs, a lot of billboards and so on talking about we're this close to eradicating polio. So that is essentially the theme that we're using right now.
So how much money is being spent out of the fund for the eradication of polio?
Well, see, the good thing is, the way that the foundation works is they've actually segregated or benchmarked certain funds for the eradication of polio, because it's such a large-scale project and requires a huge amount of funding. A lot of the funds from the foundation for polio are earmarked directly for polio projects. So when we give to the foundation, or when anyone gives to the foundation, typically if they want it to go to the polio project, to polio eradication, they earmark it directly for that. I mean, in terms of where we have been in terms of polio eradication, I mean, to give you a bit of perspective, in 1988, there was 175 countries that were still polio endemic, or 125, sorry, countries that were polio endemic, meaning that there was still wild polio virus around, polio was still spreading. And that included a large section of places like Europe, all of Asia, all of Africa, part of South America, and part of the Caribbean as well. So that's as close as 1988, and now there's only really 3 countries left. Okay. So, and that's really a lot to do with the greater good that Rotary has done in focusing its efforts on the eradication, because there's really only been one other disease in the history that's ever been able to be eradicated, which is smallpox. So for Rotary to then go to that next level and say, we've actually assisted, or we've actually spearheaded the eradication of polio is something that we're extremely proud of as Rotarians around the world, because it is something that we've worked very hard on. We've raised a lot of money for, but certainly Rotarians in every step of the way have benefited and participated in vaccination clinics in all parts of the world.
So much so is this program being recognized that even governments are rallying behind this. I don't know if you can speak to specific governments that have done this. We have the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that they have rallied behind the cause as well, and they have come up with, what is it, about 350 million?
That was, their last tranche, but they've actually given 1.3 billion overall. So they've been a huge supporter and a huge sponsor of.
So we have huge contributions coming in.
Now your slogan is "You're this close."
Yes.
With this close.
So we still need to get you. We still need to get your head on a billboard or something like that, showing that we're this close.
So you have eradication goals. By 20-something,
by 2018,
you're hoping to achieve what?
Yeah, by 2018, we're hoping that the news is going to come out that we've fully been able to eradicate polio. There's only really 300 cases left in the world, and those 300 cases are extremely difficult to get to. I mean, they're in places in Nigeria and Pakistan and Afghanistan. So they're in areas where they're prone to violence, prone to misinformation, and those sort of things. So that it's been difficult to get to those last cases, and then there's flare-ups of polio that have come about again in places like Somalia and parts of China. So it is an expensive effort, but by 2018 they project that we will be able to give the news that the world is eradicated of polio, which would be, like I said, a huge event.
Yeah, that would be like a big Rotary celebration.
Exactly. Well, celebration for mankind, really.
It'd be quite an accomplishment. Now, Rotary, of course, does a number of things in all parts of the world, and particularly here in the BVI. You know, you donate a lot to charity. You raised hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's all about making, touching lives and bringing about changes.
Talk a little bit about Rotary as a club, and give us some information on how the internal mechanism of Rotary work. And
Rotary International is really a very structured organization. I mean, it's been around for a while, and it comes with a lot of structure, and the structure that's in place really helps the individual clubs. It helps the districts. We are part of District 7020, and in fact, we just had a visit by our district governor, Dr. Paul Brown, just a couple of weeks ago. And within that district, we are one of, I think it's about 84 clubs right now. And I might put a plug in for the BVI. I think in terms of what we have achieved, we are seen as some of the stronger clubs within the district right now. And being part of that district, we get support, of course, at district level, we get support at international level. And we have 6 areas of focus that have been handed down by Rotary International, and these include promoting peace, fighting disease. Ryan, help me. Providing clean water.
Infant and mother and child mortality, supporting education, literacy, and growing
local economies. Yeah. So those are the 6 areas of focus that we have. And to help us to zero in on the different areas, every month of the year we do have a theme, a Rotary theme that we would work on. We would focus on those areas. In addition to doing other things, we would focus on those areas. Like you mentioned at the start of the program that this is Foundation Month. So we're doing quite a number of things that would help us to bring attention to the work of the foundation, to bring attention to the eradication of polio and other things. And yes, the BVI community can support polio. You as an individual can support the work of polio. All you need to do is to make contact with one of the Rotary clubs if you're not already a Rotarian.
Well, actually, it's actually just as easy as going online.
Yeah.
Anybody can go online on Rotary.org, at www.rotary.org, and there's a little button right in the top that says Give Now.
Now.
And any person can give towards anything that Rotary is doing.
And you could give any amount you want.
Any amount. Whether you want to give $1, you can only afford $1. You can afford $1,000. You can afford $20. It doesn't really matter. And then you can designate it to a specific area of focus, or if you like the work that we've done for polio, you can give it directly to that as well.
And joining and becoming a member of Rotary Club is easy. How difficult is that to do?
Well, we have 3 Rotary clubs in the British Virgin Islands, and the audience is going to meet the presidents very shortly. But we have the Rotary Club of Tortola, the Rotary Club of Roadtown, and Rotary Club Sunrise. And anyone who's interested can make contact with those presidents or any other member of a Rotary club. Each club may have different criteria for membership, similar, but there might be some differences in terms of the number of meetings one might have to come to, the cost of being a Rotarian, because there is a cost attached to it. One might have to work on a project prior to being inducted as a member of a Rotary club. So there are different criteria that the clubs have. So it would be a good idea for anyone who's interested to have a conversation.
Okay. Well, we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna meet the presidents. But before we go to the break, and we are also gonna talk about the benefits to the individual along with giving service. It seems to me there's some benefits to the individual in terms of development and joining Rotary Club, and we're going to talk about that with the presidents when they come on, so that y'all don't steal their thunder. But any last comments before you have to go and make room for the presidents about the Foundation Month and about the Rotary Foundation?
Well, I mean, all I want to to say really about the foundation is that it probably helps us to be seen as one of the greatest organizations in the world. It works in the background and the scenes to ensure that we can continue to do the good work that people have seen sort of in the community or in the Caribbean, in places like Haiti and things like that. But it's really the reason why we can do what we do, and allows us to really feel passionate about what it is that we do as well. It gives us that sense of empowerment and that sense of connection to our work, and that we're helping to fund and we're helping to do the better good of around the world.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a great organization. It really provides an excellent forum for us, for persons who are interested in making a difference in their community and in the world, to become a part of Rotary, because you can touch lives. It helps you to change lives. So anyone who's interested, I'd encourage them to have that conversation with a president or a member of any of the Rotary clubs that we have. And I might add that Rotary doesn't stop at Rotarians, the Rotary clubs. We have a family of Rotary with our Rotaractors, which is the younger group, the Interactors, and the early actors. And in fact, when the DG was here, we chartered an early act club, and another one was chartered a week before he arrived here. So there's a lot of buzz now. Well, there has always been a bit of a buzz, but I think there's a lot more engagement and enthusiasm right now for Rotary in the BVI.
Well, Assistant District Governor Thelma and President-elect Ryan, thanks for being my guest on Spotlight.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Yes, we're going to take a break for a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, we're going to come back with the three presidents. Rotary President Henry Quickie, Rotown, Club of Tortola, Rotary Club of Tortola, President Shan Mohammed, Rotary Club of Rotown, and President Jean Vanterpool, Rotary Club Sunrise. Keep it locked right here to Spotlight. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited and H. Labadee South Community College.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with the three Rotary presidents. Rotary President Henry of Rotary Club of Tortola, President Shan Mohammed, Rotary Club of Rotown, and President Jean Vanterpool, Rotary Club Sunrise. Welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Nice to be here.
Shining and bright. And you can never tell that y'all work all day today. And Rotarians always got this energy. That's a Rotary trait.
It's a prerequisite. It takes a lot of energy.
That's the word.
Yeah. A lot of energy. Y'all do a lot for the community. We want to talk first about some of the projects each club does, and why we have three clubs. First of all, I think that's a question that everybody wants to know. Like, you have a Rotary Club of Tortola, that was the club, and then you branched off. Why we have three Rotary clubs at the BVI, or three branches of Rotary?
I think it's because there is a genuine interest in a number of persons in serving in a capacity that allows you to, and Rotary presents that opportunity. Rotary Club of Rotown meets, of course, it's an evening club, so that best suits some individuals. President Jean is a morning club.
Yeah.
Again, depending on people's schedule, it best suits. President Henry will tell you, as the most senior club, he's a lunch club. So I think it suits different people at different times, and there is a large number of persons interested in joining Rotary, so very active.
So you capture the broad spectrum, the broad spectrum of
Yeah.
persons who have different schedules, different interests,
Right.
and so on.
And we have to, Tortola being the original club, one of the things that we were cautious about is going to be too big. Because when you become too big, you lose the connections between the members. You get to a certain size, and it's worth expanding, forming other clubs at different schedules, so that you can capture more people. So there's several reasons for having several Rotary clubs. We do a lot of similar types of projects, but we're part of one family, but two separate times. And I should mention too, as a Rotarian in any club, you're free to go to any of the other clubs in the BVI or anywhere around the world. So if you're a Rotarian and you're in Japan for a week and you want to go to a Rotary club, you just go and you drop in, and you'll be welcome with open arms. You might not understand what they're saying, you know, but a different menu, but you'll be welcome anywhere in the Rotary club.
Okay.
For the Rotary Club, Sunrise came about, I think, to fill that niche which we had, as President John mentioned, that people like myself, for example, who certainly look at the Rotary Club as a vehicle through which you can serve. But lunchtime was not good for me, for one. You know, you're the kind of business you're in. And so I found that the breakfast was best suited for my lifestyle and my business. And so it is with many of our members. So it now fills the gap. Everybody has their a choice, which is great.
See you the morning person.
I'm the morning person.
Too early.
Yeah, I want to. I'm talk about the last thing first, because I'm playing to. I know President Sean's agenda. He's got it plastered all over the territory. So I'm
Great advertising.
I'm going to play to his agenda. Joining Rotary, and I think persons, you know, you hear talk about Rotary, and you talk about the work that Rotary is doing in the community. I think it's also important to talk a little bit about the benefits that Rotarians get from being Rotarians.
Okay.
You know, it's like, you know, it's like you make it feel like, oh man, I'm going to join this club and all I'm going to do is walk and walk. You know, but you don't hear about the personal development, the growth, the camaraderie, you know, the fun.
You missed it. It's not all about we're going to join this club and work. It is fun.
Well, I mean, a lot of people might think that. You know,
and yeah, the opportunity to mix and mingle with professionals and, you know, skilled person, your variety of people that comprise your club members. You can interact and gain knowledge, even business relationship. In fact, Rotary was built on that, where a group of business persons came together to enrich their professional lives, and out of that came Rotary and the development of this charitable arm of Rotary. So it's,
but I noticed too, you know,
Yes.
you join Rotary as like you come in on the
So it's
on the ground floor,
Yeah,
and
but-
the next thing I know, you are the president. You know, like it's this meteoric rise to primacy. You know, the head
I mean,
honcho.
for me,
How does that
me,
happen? I mean, there's a training,
think that-
there is human
I think it's a natural
development.
evolution. Eventually, you join Rotary, you get engaged in various projects, then you get introduced to the leadership of Rotary by serving on a board, and then to me the natural progression, you become the president. For me personally, I feel like, you know, I've lived in this country now today officially for 16 years, and I feel the country has been good to me. I'm very grateful and thankful. How do I give something back? And Rotary provides me with a mechanism to do so. And I feel like, you know, when the time comes for me to go to the great beyond, I want to leave some footprints behind. I want to be known to having a cause and having worked towards achieving that goal and objective. And I think also, as President Jean said as well, it's important. I've built lifelong friendships within the club. I mean, they've become like almost family. So, and I get personal satisfaction for executing the agenda or the strategic plans with great satisfaction with its success. And you know, you said you can see some of the things that we have done, and that's the whole idea. I mean, you're doing good work, and you want people to see that you're making a difference in your community.
Okay, let's go through some of.
I was going to just add that what we say we do is essentially we join leaders together, exchange ideas, and then take action to improve our communities. So most times, most people who join Rotary, they are leaders in their own right. They could be in any profession, in any, you know, could be retired even, but there's some kind of leadership potential in them. So it's not hard for them to make the leap from becoming a new Rotarian to becoming a leader in Rotary.
But I know now that you have, as Assistant District Governor Delma spoke earlier, the young people. And I'm gonna get to the projects, but I think this is important. The developing the membership and the sustainability of the club. You have some young Rotary clubs. The Rotary actors, interactors, and so on. And I think parents need to know of the importance of having their children to join these clubs, and what the benefits are of a child becoming an interactor, for example, or an early actor or a Rotary actor. Perhaps you could speak a little bit to that. What they gain from that experience.
Recently, we chartered the Rotary Club Sunrise, chartered the Early Act Club at the Altheus Catholic Primary School, and the enthusiasm of both teachers, parents, and students were really fantastic. And the students were so, in fact, they're the largest early act group now in the territory. Of course, Altheus Catholic is the largest school, but we inducted 56 of them on that date on November 3rd when the district governor visited. And
what you do with those children?
Well,
what happens to them?
It is an exposure.
What process they go through?
Well, it's a matter of introducing them to what the values of leadership Rotary is all about. Being leaders in your community, giving service in whatever way you can. It may be just having a little garden, helping someone to do a painting of their house, or around the yard, or do some little things in their neighborhood, collect funds to help another child maybe who needs help. It could be it something need at home, or it could be that they want to help to send someone off to see the doctor who needs help. But the little things that they can do, I recall Ryan mentioned one child after he give a speech on foundation, giving to help others. This child gave $1, and to add to that, just the sense that he felt he needed to help. And this is what you build in these young students at that early age, formidable age, where you can mold them and make them better citizens in the society, so that they develop leadership skills, etc. That's what we hope to achieve.
And Adrianka, we can speak from the two ends of the spectrum, because we, like President Jean, chartered an Early Act Club about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. But about 30 years ago, we also chartered a Rotary Act Club, first Rotary Act Club in the BBI. And if you look at some of the members who were in that Rotary Act Club back then, and over the years, you would see that many leaders in this community have been groomed through that process. So, leadership is one of the core values of Rotary. Service, integrity, fellowship, those things are core values of Rotary. And they also translate to being core values in Early Act, Rotary Act, Interact as well.
Okay. Let's talk about the projects. Your big project is to get membership.
I hate to disappoint you.
You must be doing a good job, right?
Of the agenda, but yes, we felt
what are the
that.
projects that we're going to go down
We're the second largest club, but we felt that we needed to attract new membership. We need new blood, new ideas, and so forth. I'm very pleased that we've inducted some 9 new Rotarians, all of whom are very active in the club. To the point that the district recognized the efforts, as you said, for Membership Month, and we were awarded Club of the Month in August of the 84 clubs in the district. But it's much more than that. We do the Kiddies Fiesta. We've made it grand. We've made it larger than life itself. We had fantastic support from the community. We gave out school supplies, which was a new added feature of what we did before. Car raffle is about to happen soon. We set an ambitious target of $100,000.
Just
We're
make
doing
sure
very well. We've done, we're going to have 2 health expos next year. We're going to move health expo to Virgin Gorda on a grand scale. We have paired them with a number of companies so we can raise money, because as I said to my board last night, without money you can't do anything. So we've had great success from that perspective. You know, we're going to form a new Interact Club as well. So we, you know, See the School has agreed that come January there'll be a new Interact Club. We have done the 4-way test essay competition. We have joined with our sister clubs and do the dictionary project. We're focusing on youth at risk. We're working very closely with Mitch Turnbull and Mr. Craig Lake, and we just had I'm a Lady, where we, you know, Fort Farmers was addressed in different forums, and they talk about various aspects of our life where we can make a difference and share experiences and so forth. So I think that we're doing our fair share in terms of for BVI community. You know, we for Polio Plus, for example, we're going to donate more than $12,000 plus for polio, and Bill Gates Foundation will give us $2 for each dollar, so that $12,000 will become $36,000.
Is there a competition for President of the Year? I just see the issue. Sister Jean, Rotary Sunrise. What's on the
we're the smallest of the three, but we are doing our part to make a difference in the community. We've recently, this year, adopted the Adina Donovan Home for the elderly, and we are in fact going to be having a concert on the 28th of November, this November, to raise funds to meet some needs of that are outstanding at the home for the elderly. So we are hoping that the community at large will come out and support us at this venture at the HLSCC auditorium, VIP and regular, $50 and $25. So I'm looking for full support from the community. It's all going back to our people. These are folks who have given a lot of them given a lot to this community over the years, and we expect to make their lives.
We have to take care of them.
Yeah, take care of them. We're also going to have a dinner to raise funds again this November 21st, this Friday, at Keto's, where we will be again hosting a benefit. It's going to be going towards polio, again, the world's greatest meal. $10 from each meal is going to go towards that fund, and in recognition for the great effort that's going into the eradication of polio. It cannot be overemphasized how important it is that we get rid of this disease worldwide. And so we're doing our part in that regard. We will also be looking at, we are involved with the Rainbow Children's Home, where we have given assistance and will continue to provide assistance to them in areas of need that we see on an ongoing basis. And it goes on. I don't want to take up too much of the time, but
it goes on.
It goes on.
So you have anything to do, President Henry?
One of the things, you don't do everything, right? It's done for me. But we find our niche in between everything else.
Don't be so modest.
Too modest.
Yes, we do have quite a bit of projects that we're all involved in. So the Club of Tortola, and we have large projects, small projects. So one of the projects that we had early in the year, we had the youth forum in Tortola and Virgin Gorda. That was a big project. We had a huge food drive where the community really came out and supported families in need. We gave a lot of food to the Family Support Network and Social Development Department. We have environmental projects like the Mangrove Boardwalk, where we built a few hundred feet of boardwalk through the mangroves, and that's going to help to teach children about the value of the mangroves, so our ecosystems. We do small things too. We read once a week or once every other week at the Alexandria Maduro Primary School in Bargos Bay, the Joyce Samuel Primary School up in Bellevue. We work with YEP, we work with CATS. So we do quite a number of projects, big and small. Sometimes we give funds to, we do cultural projects too, I should say. We support this project up at Kingstown. It's a beautiful project to work on the St. Philip's Church up there, which was the home of the liberated Africans and the burial ground around there. we support the festival. Lots of different things that we all do. We could go on like talking about projects. Yeah.
And the projects overlap. You work collaboratively with each other on any similar projects, or each one is that stays within their project boundaries. How does that work?
Some of them we do jointly.
The dictionary, for example.
Right.
It's a joint.
And some of them we do separately.
Dictionary. What was that?
We give out dictionaries this year to the public and private schools, grade 3 students throughout the territory. So that was a collaborative effort between the 3 clubs.
Yeah.
Foundation dinner, for example, that was a joint project as well between the 3 clubs. So there are some areas where we definitely work together, but of course there's some projects that we've been doing forever. Comes out of our identity project.
Yeah, like the Fiesta and
car raffle and so forth.
But even if one club has one of its own projects, we work together on it.
Yes,
so, for example, at the Kiddies Fiesta,
yes, we have support.
The Rotarians from both clubs and Rotaractors go and support. At our food drive, same thing. So we always, even if we're renovating a home for a family, you'll find that sometimes Rotarians go to the other club's service project and support them. So
it's not a competition.
Of course, it's a little bit of a competition. But in any family, Rotary is a family. Rotary is a family, right? So in any family, there's a little bit of competition.
Compete with each other,
just range
all the time. But we always make sure, even though we compete, we have the same goals in mind, and serving the same community. So we don't let the competition overshadow anything else.
Okay. Now you get like themes this month. What are your project themes?
This is foundation.
This is foundation.
So everybody, so you don't have a separate theme for each club?
No. Rotary has preset.
So like, what was, anybody remember what last month's theme was?
Yeah, last month was service, vocation, vocational service.
Yes.
And September was community service.
Yeah. And what's December going to be?
Family and women. Family.
Okay. Is that because Christmas is coming?
I hope so.
Yes. Family, we try to do things like, visit the hospital. We do caroling for our club. We do caroling. We do give gift baskets, little gift basket to those who are hospitalized then. And at the Adina Donovan, of course, we do the same. We have a project where with the past 2 years, we've been assisting with giving gifts to children of prisoners who are presently inmates. Their children, we help to provide gifts for the children. A way of support. It's Christmas. Every child looks forward to getting something. So these are things that we do as well.
Okay. I would like to add, this is Foundation Month, and it's part of the reason that we're here on this show.
Yeah.
And Assistant Governor Delma and P. Ryan spoke quite a bit about foundation. But one thing that we'd have liked to highlight as well is, even though the foundation is based outside the BBI, and we give money to the foundation, a lot of times the money comes back to the territory and to the region. So, and we didn't mention some of our projects that we've done through the foundation as well. So, for example, with Tortola, we've donated a fetal monitor to the hospital many years ago. We've built a new school in Haiti. Half of the funds came from the foundation, half came from funds that we raised. Renovated another school there as well. And we've, this is all in recent times, had a scholarship for a young lady to study emergency response techniques. So at this foundation, I want to highlight some of those projects. And Rotown has quite a number of projects that they've worked on for foundation.
We've done some dialysis machines, done playground equipment, for example. So you're right, the foundation gives a lot more than we give to them.
Yes. Yeah, in the district on the whole, I think the numbers are something like, the district is Northern Caribbean, and we probably give about $280,000 to the foundation, but we get back about $2.something million in the district from the foundation.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think it's important to mention the foundation and Foundation Month.
Yeah.
But what I find more interesting is how much I did not know about all of the things that you do in the community. Because, sometimes I would hear, for example, oh, they're raising money for Haiti again, and there's so much need in the BVI, you know, and so you don't do a lot of publicity around your service. And especially around your local service. You do publicity around if the national service because you want to raise money to send, but the painting of the houses, the donation of food to the children of prisoners, the school stuff.
We sort of changed that this year, though. We've done a great job. The clubs have done a great job of promoting the local events as well. I think this year in particular, I see a lot more.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're here now. I mean, this is the first time I've had 3 presidents of Rotary Club on any show talking about anything. You know, so certainly this is a shift.
Yeah, I agree. And but you're right. Some of the projects we promote very in a big way in the media, and some of the work we do quietly. But we've made an effort, which we were encouraged by Rotary, very much encouraged to promote the projects that we do, because as I think it's important too for the donors to know when you give us funds, what those funds go towards. That's very important, and that's why we make sure that we do promote a lot of larger projects.
Right.
We might add we've done some home renovations this year. We did one recently in Purcell at Mrs. Barker House. I mean, it's something we're extremely proud of. The landscaping is IPP Charles Crane did a wonderful job with that. And I know that you've done some.
Yes, we have done.
So we are getting our hands dirty as well.
Well, I mean, it's good to know because you know your image has been one of persons who perhaps are on a different class level and maintain that class level and not have it be realized that the class, if there is such a thing as your class level, it is used for the most part in service to the community. So it's not something where you just sit back and say I'm a Rotarian, look at me. You know, it's some hard work. We found on 10 o'clock, and I want to get in the part about joining Rotary again, and the benefits of becoming a Rotarian and how that is done.
Okay. I think the benefit varies a little bit for each person. Some people join because of the feeling that they get when they do good for others, service projects. Some people join to meet more people in the community.
Networking.
So a bit of networking. Some people join, you do build lifelong friendships if you do get
not
very
just
involved
locally
in Rotary.
but internationally,
Yes,
around the
correct.
world.
Right. So people join for that reason as well. And each club has a slightly different procedure for membership. So for example, in the Rotary Club of Tortola, you have to be invited or by a Rotarian to come to a meeting. And then you have to come to at least 8 meetings. You have to be sure that's what you want to get into, and you have to demonstrate that you are into community service. So you have to work on at least one community service project over those 8 weeks, and then you'll be eligible for membership into the club. That's
So
essentially it.
you come in to build relationships, but you also come in to work.
Yes.
You have a process.
Well, it's pretty similar in that, but we might be less. We probably 4 to 6 weeks, I think, is our max. Where you have to be invited by a Rotarian as well, who sees you as somebody who could have something to offer to the community and to Rotary in general. So the process is pretty similar.
Very much similar as well. You attend. I mean, basically, they're almost the same thing. We have less meetings than that. We do 4, but sometimes people come a little bit more than 4. We want to ensure that. Basically, we rely on the person proposing them as well. For example, if Charter President Ronnie says, "I'm proposing John Doe," I'm relying that he's not putting forward somebody. He's putting forward somebody who he believes is going to be a good Rotarian. So we rely on our own membership as well. So the process is very much similar.
Okay. Last thoughts. So you're under the turning of the clock. Last words. Something I forgot to ask that you want to get across.
We would want to encourage the community, members of the public, to consider joining Rotary as well. It allows us to do more projects. We want to encourage the business community to support our clubs, in terms of some funding and like for example, sometimes companies like Lime or Morant was doing is to send the employees to also work along Rotarians. So there's great value, you know. President Henry?
Yes, I would agree with what President Sean just mentioned, and I would like to also extend a word of thanks. I always like to do that because without the community, we could do none of these projects that you hear us talking about now. So to say thank you to the communities, individuals, corporations, yourself, the media, who help us to do our work in the community.
The more hands you have on deck, the more you
That's
get
right.
done.
Yeah.
I too want to say thanks to the community and thanks in advance for the support we will have this Friday night and the 28th as well for the upcoming fundraising events.
And you could get in touch
Thank
with any
you.
Rotarian and ask
Any
about the
one
upcoming
of
events.
our members. We have tickets available for the 28th and for this Friday. Just show up at Keto's.
All right.
nice.
And one more thing.
Sure.
We mentioned that we have Rotaract clubs, other new generation arms or young youth arms. And our Rotaract club of Tortola, just this month for the first time in history as far as we can recall, won Rotaract Club of the Quarter for the whole district. So for the first quarter of the year, they were recognized as being the premier club in the whole region. And we were very proud of that. And also the Rotaract Club of Virgin Gorda, which was just chartered 10 months ago or so.
Yeah.
They came fourth place in the whole district. So in the BVI, the Rotary family is, really
Well
doing
alive
great
and
things. Yeah, really doing great
Yeah,
things.
working.
No, we like to say
really
we're ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
Well, it's great,
Yes.
and I've noticed. I've been up close and personal, and I've noticed that the young people, and that's why I wanted to draw that attention to the young people, are making significant changes in their personal lives,
That's
and becoming Rotarians. And so,
Yes.
I want to encourage parents watching
That's right.
to consider their children being a part of that, something that's going to benefit them personally as well as benefit the community. President Sean, President Jean, President Henry, it's great to have you on Spotlight. Thank you very much for showing up, and keep coming, keep letting people know about the service and the work that Rotary is doing in the community.
Thank you
Thanks for
very much.
having us.
Thanks for having us on Spotlight.
Yes, and of course, we want to thank Assistant District Governor Delma and President-elect Ryan as well for their great discussion about Rotary Foundation Month. Yes, indeed. Spotlight is seen every Tuesday here at 8 p.m. on JTV Channel 55 and rebroadcast Sundays at 2:30. Follow Spotlight on Facebook, participate in discussion on the issues coming from Spotlight, find out about upcoming guests and topics, or suggest your own guests and topics. I'm Adrianka reminding you that when the Spotlight is on, you see the facts, peace, and blessings.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands and CCT Global Community